In this box there is apparently something that is going to turn my already fantastic Creality Ender 3 S1 Pro into something even more amazing. This is the Creality Sonic Pad. It's a touchscreen that you attach to your FDM printer, and it converts your printer from running on Marlin firmware to running on Klipper firmware. It's not just a touchscreen, in effect it's the new brain for your printer. Klipper is a very capable bit of firmware. It's got a lot more options than Marlin, but it requires a faster processor, and I'm quite keen to give it a go. I have looked into Klipper in the past, but have been put off by the complexity of it. I don't like messing about with computer code, and the cost of the hardware buying a Raspberry Pi has gone up a lot, and you'd need to get a touchscreen, and it just put me off really. This is apparently a plug and play solution. It comes with all the necessary leads, instructions. I started by getting the SD card reader from my S1 Pro and the memory card. I connected up the mains to the pad and booted it up. It's got a lovely clear colour screen on this. The video doesn't do it justice, but it is really nice, the screen, very responsive. So you work through the menus, select your country, language, connect it to the Wi-Fi, and then it takes you through a series of steps. You select your printer model, flash the firmware across onto the SD card for your printer, and then making sure your printer is turned off, you can then insert the SD card into the slot on your printer, and that's got the new Klipper firmware on it. Make sure your printer's connected via USB. All the sockets are clearly labelled on the Sonic Pad, and then it runs you through a series of self-tests. These tests involve levelling and setting the Z-axis offset. It's all very straightforward and easy, and it does most of it automatically. But just run through the menu. Here you can just see I'm adjusting the offset. I'm using a bit of paper at this point. I'm then setting the bed temperature, and it then takes you through a 25-point bed levelling sequence. And this is quite a quick sequence actually. I have sped it up here, but it is quite quick. This is proper active bed levelling, and what it does is it gives you a 3D map of your bed, and as you can see it's far from level. It's a shame the video doesn't show the map very clearly. It's all colour coded. It looks very cool. And there we are. Setup's complete, and we're ready to go. And we arrive at this home screen. So I'm setting the preheating temperature. Very straightforward. And then we're going to print. The first thing we're going to do is print the bracket to attach the resonance sensor. We're just working through the process. It's all new to me, so I'm being a bit clunky. Anyway, it's working. That's a good sign. I was a bit nervous about messing with my lovely printer. And it's away. I'll just print, like I say, I'm printing this bracket which they supply on the USB stick that comes with the Sonic Pad. It's not a brilliant bracket. I did have to move one of the holes slightly, but there we are. The first print using Klipper. I then printed off one of my Swiss cheese fridge magnets, and this came out very well, although I did forget to put supports when I sliced it, so some of the bridging wasn't so good. I've installed the sensor onto the hot end, and that connects into the back of the screen, and I then ran the resonance calibration test. Time to see if it makes a difference. So now we're going for a high-speed cheese. I've upped the speed to 300%, so instead of taking 2 hours to print, it actually only took 40 minutes. This is the actual speed the printer's running at. It's going a lot faster. I was very impressed with that. Just waiting to see what the quality's like. And there it is, all done. It's come out very well. It's difficult to see, but there is actually a little bit of ghosting on this. This is the normal one, and it is a lot smoother. The one done at normal speed, I should say. But you can see the quality of this, apart from those dodgy overhangs. Anyway, I remade the sensor bracket out of aluminium. I made my own and bolted it all on, because I noticed that the other one had worked loose. I then redid the calibration test and reprinted a 300% speed cheese, and you can see there is no ringing on this, or minimal. It really has come out a lot better. But yeah, very pleased with that. You can see better here the difference between the two 300%. This is the Creality Sonic Pad. It's for connecting to your 3D printer, and it converts it from running on Marlin firmware to Klipper. And it's amazing. Really impressed with it. Here is the Sonic Pad. Very nice clear touchscreen on this. When Creality sent me this, I was very pleased, but I was also a bit hesitant about attaching it to my 3D printer. I've got the Creality S1 Pro, the Ender 3 S1 Pro, and it's a fantastic printer. I love it. It just produces such good, consistent quality prints. And changing things on it, I was a little bit hesitant because I thought I don't want to mess it up. But I needn't have worried. It was all plug and play. It was brilliant. This Klipper I've been looking into for a while, but I didn't like the complexity of setting it up. It gives you a lot more control, a lot more options for your 3D printer, and it can print faster. But I'm not good with computer code. I prefer plug and play solutions, and this is a plug and play solution, which is fantastic. The first thing I printed was a little holder for the resonance sensor, because what it can do is it can work out the resonant frequency of your printer and then optimize the speeds and settings so that it produces better quality prints at higher speeds. So I printed out that, and I noticed when I was removing it after doing the resonance checks that one of the screws was loose, and I didn't think it made much difference because the other one was still tight. But when I printed out some cheeses, my little fridge magnet cheeses, I noticed that when I was printing at 300% speed, so 3 times faster than it would normally print, which is quite amazing, and I was getting a little bit of ringing, you know, sort of ghosting on the sides, which, you know, you would expect a bit at those sort of speeds, but it was a bit more marked than I thought. So what I did was I made my own little metal bracket and bolted that all on properly so it was dead rigid, and I did the resonance checks again, and I reprinted at 300%, and the result was much better. Still some ghosting there, some ringing around the holes in the cheese, but nothing like the first 300% speed one I did. So very impressed. If I can print things at that quality 3 times as fast, that to me makes the Sonic Pad worth it already, really. But it's very nice, and I am very impressed with it. I am going to explore more of the other options eventually. I'm going to go through and learn a bit more about Klipper and what it can do. I want to connect a webcam so that I can do time lapses and things like that. But that's you know, that's all for the future. Anyway, I thought I'd give you a little preview of this. It's only just become available on the market, and I've got on very well with it. Thanks to Creality for sending it to me. And I'll be back soon with some more videos.
More rubbish coming soon.